Peace of Christ, everyone. Hello again. This is Nick Rock. We are still working on the same subject, which is spreading religion comparison between Islam and Christianity. We previously explained the doctrine basis for each religion in regards to spreading religion, and we started also the previous episode, which is the second one, explain some basis or give historical application actually to and we saw mainly that proof from Islamic books that the Prophet of Islam enforced Islam on the Arabic Peninsula using the sword. Now, I will start a new historical application, uh, which quite frankly I consider astonishing. So let me share my screen. This is compare how each of Christianity and Islam spread in Armenia. So let's go through this. So make use of the time of the broadcast. Now, we will start, of course, by what books did I use? Hello, everyone. Hi, Rick. Hi, Ada. Thank you for attending the broadcast. What books used? What references I will be using through this comparison? So, I will be using secular historical books. Not it, so those books are secular mainly. Most of them will be secular. This is a history of Armenia, and the writer is Vahan M. Korkijian. He's a historical. He's a secular historian. The second book I'll be using is another secular historian book, Armenia: A Journey Through History. And the writer is Ara Avakian, and he's also a secular historian. Now, the third book is also a critique of Islam, writer Andrew Bostom, and the book is called Legacy of Jihad. Now, you can obtain those books from Amazon, for example. Those books are not free. You cannot download it as PDF. Probably you'll have to obtain them as printed edition or get it from Amazon Kindle. If anybody is interested to review those references. This is also a wonderful book and a wonderful writer. Actually, I consider Rodney Stark one of the best writers. He's an American sociologist of religion who is a long-time professor of sociology and comparative religion at the University of Washington. And his basis is secular, because this professor, Rodney Stark, most of his life, he was agnostic. He converted to Christianity recently, but most of his career, he began as an agnostic, and it is only a few years back where he converted to Christianity. Now, let's see. So those are the references. Let's see now how Christianity spread in Armenia. And our story starts in year through 301 AD in the reign of a pagan king called Tridat. Now, a very important note. I have to mention it. During that time, Armenia was not part of the Roman Empire. It was it was ruled by local kings. Like King Tridat is a local king. Is a king from Armenia. Now, how did the story of spreading Christianity started? Year 301. I'm reading now from Armenia, History of Armenia, page 96. As you see, the book is not on Kindle. This one is not even on Kindle, so I had to scan it. I have to scan it with my camera and so on. So year again, page 96. Year 301, Saint Gregory won a lot of souls to Christ. He went to Armenia and he started to evangelize, and he won a lot of souls to Christ. So the pagan king started to prosecute and confined Gregory in a dungeon. Yes, great point. Was not part of Rome. Thank you. So now, evangelism started, and usually the rulers, the pagan rulers, started to persecute Saint Gregory, and they put him in jail, basically. What happened next is interesting. Now, page 97, as punishment for his crimes, the king was stricken with an abominable disease. He got a very bad disease. The king started to show a very deformative disease. And that disease made him disappear from public appearances in his kingdom. Now, a vision appeared to one of the princes that there was a person imprisoned in the king's castle who, with his prayer, could heal the king. So one of the princes had a dream: if Saint Gregory prayed for the king, he will be healed. And of course, the king at the beginning started to resist this advice, but as the disease progressed in him, finally he agreed to allow Saint Gregory get out of the jail and pray for him. They brought missionary Gregory to the king, and he offered to pray for his recovery. The miracle happened. You see here, there's a divine hand. The miracle happened, and the king was cured, who was amazed and realized that this must be the true God. The king and all what happened next after this miracle done by the Lord Jesus Christ, the king and his court converted to Christianity, and for that Christianity spread all over Armenia, and most of the Armenian population converted to Christianity. So what we learn from that? From the historical secular sources previously presented, we find that the spread in Christianity in Armenia, year 301 AD, was due to an incident of healing of the pagan king Tridad at the hands of Saint Gregory, the missionary of Armenia. So Saint Gregory is considered the saint who brought Armenia to the Lord Jesus Christ. The Lord used him. Of course, the miracle was done by Jesus, but with the prayer of Saint Gregory. Although it is historically proven that King Tridad at the beginning persecuted Christians and put them in jail. But after that, his heart changed after the miracle, and he accepted the Lord Jesus and all his royal family, and hence, of course, naturally, Christianity will spread all over Armenia. Okay, now conclusions. Logically, there is no other explanation for the spread of Christianity in Armenia except that miracles actually occurred. The true God does not need armies, military captivity, killing, malakat yamin, enslavement, and concubine, and forcing concubines to satisfy them, the conquerors, the jihadists, and all that is not to the hand of God. Of course, we can see here where is the hand of God. The true God is holy and mighty, and he can use few godly people to do great work of saving people that no great armies can do. And that's what we will see in the second half of our episode today. Let's talk now about Islam trying to spread in Armenia. Let's see. Let's go through the Islamic era in Armenia from the same book, History of Armenia, page 144. As I said, at that time, Armenia was not part of the Roman Empire. It was ruled by local kings. Yeah, thank you. Yes, I have to highlight this point. Now, Armenia is the 7th century AD, 1st century Hijri. The history of Armenia talks about an era that begins in year 641, which is 20 Hijri. War crimes and crimes against humanity began with the first caliph, what they call them al-Khulafa al-Rashidin. So Omar ibn al-Khattab is the one who started to send Islamic military jihadists to Armenia to conquer it and force it into Islam. It started by Omar ibn al-Khattab. Yeah, this is a very early genocide. This is a genocide. We will see here war crimes even before the Osmani Empire, the Turkish massacre that happened 1910. This is different. This is early. This is started in year 641 AD. Let's see. Description of the Islamic era in Armenia. History of Armenia, page 142. Let's see how the historians describe the Islamic era of Armenia. And under the title, as you see in the printed book, Arabs bring a gloomy era. With the entry of the Arabs on the stage, a darker chapter began in the history of Armenia. Muslims considered the Christians of the conquered countries as their own. They considered them slaves and resorted to all kinds of persecution to impose the religion of Islam on them. However, Armenians held firmly to their belief, the last shield to protect their nationality. Their martyrdom began when the Arabs first appeared in the country of Van. Exactly. Secular schools all over the world, which are influenced by the devil, you will never see those facts there. Let's now continue. First, I will prove you from an Islamic book that the invaders are Sahaba of Muhammad. We go to the history of Al-Tabari, and it is an Arabic print, and we go to part 3 and page 397. So قال شهد اليرموك 1000 من أصحاب رسول الله صلعم فيهم نحو 100 من أهل بدر. For example, Al-Tabari says, History of the Messengers and Kings states that Yarmouk was fought by 1,000 Sahaba of Muhammad. and 100 of them even was involved in Badr, in the war of Badr. So as you see here, Omar ibn al-Khattab, during the era of Omar ibn al-Khattab, what they call them the righteous caliph, which obviously you'll see now they are not really righteous at all. The soldiers were Sahaba. Okay, let's proceed. So the first point is that who is conquering those countries and killing are Sahaba. Now let's read about first massacre of Armenia in year 642 during the Khilafah of Al-Faruq. They call him Omar ibn al-Khattab. They call him Al-Faruq. And this happened only 9 years after the death of Prophet of Islam, Muhammad. And we are reading from the book The Legacy of Jihad, page 599. So highlighted in yellow, among the Armenian cities that they invaded is a city called Divin. And they killed all its inhabitants. So they killed all the inhabitants. Do you know what does that mean? They killed women and children and elders. They didn't keep anyone alive in the Armenian city called Divin. So the rightly guided Caliph Omar ibn al-Khattab committed war crimes in which women, children, and elderly were killed. The hand of Omar ibn al-Khattab, there is a blood of innocence, children, women on it. I just want to set this point clear to everyone. Let's now continue and see other crimes. Now here is a crime happened after that. In the era of Abd al-Malik ibn Marwan, which is an Umayyad Caliph. And this is year 84 Hijri. History of Armenia, page 145. In year 705 AD, the Muslim invaders of Armenia gathered all the Christian nobles in a church and burned them. No comment. And we are stating that for the history. There's a lot of lies around us, as you know, a lot of Islamic propaganda, a lot of Westerners that are being deceived. Here I am getting you facts from secular history books. Let's see. Another scandal. In year 2005 Hijri, okay, and this is another Khalif called Al-Mutawakkil. After a period of good treatment and relative calm during the reign of Harun al-Rashid, page 149, the history of Armenia, page 150, records one of the worst crimes through history under the title Another Era of Terror. So basically, as you see highlighted in the book, churches, villages, and cities were burned. Nobles were liquidated. People were enslaved, and entire communities were executed for refusing to convert to Islam, because we have a doctrine basis for that. We saw the jihad of pursuing. As you see here, jihad of pursuing is a complete and genuine doctrine in Islam, and supported by the Quran, by the Hadith, by the fiqh of all the school of thoughts inside the Sunni religion. And here we see jihad of pursuing in action. Now, we hope that we don't see again this jihad of pursuing in our generation or in the generation of our children. We need to pray and state the truth. Okay, let's continue. Now, as you saw, those are all secular books, but not Islamic books. So someone will come and say, oh, those are infidel, kuffar, enemies of Islam. They hate Islam. They are lying. I will show you a confession from an Islamic resource to that sort of crimes that happened in Armenia. And you will notice that they say it very quickly. They say one sentence there without no details. But it is an enough admission from the people of that same religion, Islamic historians, that admitted those kind of crimes in Armenia. Let's see. I will show you only today one example, but if needed, I can communicate more. Here, this is the Islamic history book that had an admission. Of course, the title I will not. Why do I translate the title? It is like a rhyme title, a very Arabic saga title. كتاب النجوم الزاهرة في ملوك مصر والقاهرة بن تغريبردي. So the historian is a Sunni Islamic historian. His name is Ben Taghribardi. And you can get this book from waqfaya.com. Okay, let's see. What admission does this book say? Year 92 Hijri, during the reign of Khalif al-Walid II, the al-Walid I, an Umayyad Caliph. What happened? Kitab al-Nujum al-Zahira, the first part 1, and page 222. وفيما افتتح قتيبة بن مسلم أمير خراسان شومان وكش وفس وامتنع عليه أهل فارياب, which is in Armenia, فأحرقها. وامتنع عليه أهل فارياب فأحرقها. So this Muslim war leader, the people of Variab in Armenia resisted him defending their city, so he burned it all down. And of course, when you burn a city, what do you expect? You are killing the entire population, regardless who is a soldier and who is not a soldier, and who is old and who is male and who is female, who is young, who is a child, who is an infant. You are completely burning down the whole city. And this is from an Islamic resource, from an Islamic history book. And by that, I'm finished for today. Conclusion. At the end, Islam failed to spread in Armenia. All that forcibility and crimes, of course, failed to spread the Islamic religion in Armenia. Actually, I think Armenia is having a vaccine against Islam now. Like they give them a vaccine that, uh, hey, no, we will never accept Islam, and we will never convert to Islam because we saw you guys what you do in history. We hope that for the rest of the world. Thank you very much. And until another episode, I think also the next episode will be interesting to you guys. So until next week, uh, be blessed by the peace and grace of the Lord Jesus Christ. Bye bye now.